LeBron James is an American basketball player who plays the small forward position for the Los Angeles Lakers of the NBA. He is ranked first in the list of top scorers in NBA history and in the first place in the list of the leading scenes in the history of the NBA playoffs. He won the NBA Finals MVP title 4 times and the only one to do so on 3 different teams. He won the Rookie of the Year title in the 2003-2004 season, and since 2005, he has been included in one of the NBA's top 5 every season and regularly participated in the All-Star game. During his 7 years in Cleveland, James was the team's main offensive player, leading the team to consecutive playoff appearances from 2006 to 2010. In 2007, Cleveland qualified for the Eastern Conference Finals of the NBA for the first time since 1992, and for the overall Finals series for the first time in the team's history, where they lost to the San Antonio Spurs 0-4. In 2010, he moved to the Miami Heat, which he led to 4 consecutive finals alongside Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, and in 2 of them, in 2012 and 2013, he led them to win the NBA championship while being crowned MVP of the final series twice, in addition to being the MVP of the regular season in these 2 seasons. In 2014, James returned to the Cleveland Cavaliers, leading them 4 times in a row to the final series and to the first championship in the club's history in 2016, while being crowned MVP of the final series. In 2018, he moved to the Los Angeles Lakers, and in 2020, he won the NBA championship with them and was crowned the MVP of the final series. James played for the United States team, with which he won bronze medals at the Athens Olympics and the 2006 World Championships, as well as gold medals at the Beijing Olympics and the London Olympics 2012. Throughout his career, James consistently averaged high scores in almost every aspect of the game, and thus broke many records, including the youngest player to cross the 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000 career points mark. James's personal and team achievements established his status as one of the best basketball players of all time. LeBron James was born on December 30th, 1984 in Akron, Ohio, to 16-year-old Gloria James. In the summer of 1993, Bruce Kelker, a coach and scout for the East Dragons, a children's football team, was looking for players in the tough neighborhoods of Akron and held a running competition among the children. Due to the financial difficulties, Gloria considered sending him to distant relatives, but Frankie Walker, James' coach in the group, who heard about the difficult financial situation, decided to adopt him, and the father of the family insisted that the children complete their studies and homework before going out for sports activities. Frank also taught him the basics of basketball in the family's yard, and signed him up for his first basketball team. During his stay with the Walker family, James befriended Frankie Jr. Before long, the friends formed the Northern Ohio Shooting Stars, coached by Joyce's father. In 1999, James began playing for the Saints. He played with the number 23 on his shirt, the same number Michael Jordan played with, who is considered the greatest basketball player of all time, and in whom James saw a model for imitation and admiration.
In the draft itself, he was indeed selected in first place by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and already in his first game in the NBA, against the Sacramento Kings, he left an impression as an exceptional player, when he scored 25 points, pulled down 6 rebounds, handed out 9 assists, and stole 4 times in 42 minutes of play. In total, James finished his rookie season with an average of 20.9 points, 5.9 assists, and 5.5 rebounds per game, and was named Rookie of the Year. In doing so, he became the youngest player in history to win the title. He also became only the 3rd player to score over 20 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds per game in his first season in the NBA, after Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson. Also from a team point of view, James' arrival in Cleveland was significant, and the team finished the regular season with a 35-47 record, achieving 18 more wins than the previous season. In the 2004-2005 season, Carlos Boozer left Cleveland, and James became the team's leading player. He averaged 27.2 points, 7.2 assists, 7.4 rebounds, and 2.2 steals, particularly impressive figures for a player of his age, and was selected for the top 5 of the second season. Nevertheless, Cleveland again failed in its bid to qualify for the playoffs, finishing the regular season in 9th place in the East with a record of 40-42. In this season, James was chosen, for the first time in his career, to participate in the All-Star Game, in which the Eastern team won 115-125. James was one of the best in the game and finished it with 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. In the 2005-2006 season, James demonstrated excellent shooting ability and finished the regular season with an average of 31.4 points per game, but finished second in the league's leaderboard after Kobe Bryant, who in a record season scored 35.4 points per game. He led Cleveland to a 32-50 record at the end of the regular season, and to third place in the East, from which the team qualified for the playoffs for the first time since the 1997-1998 season. Also, James was selected for the first time in the top 5 of the season and finished second in the regular season MVP elections, with only Steve Nash ahead of him. On top of that, he was again selected to participate in the All-Star Game and even won the MVP award of the game with 29 points and 6 rebounds, and became the youngest player to win the title. In the first round of the playoffs, Cleveland faced the Washington Wizards, and already in the first game between the teams, James achieved a triple-double with 32 points, 11 rebounds and 11 assists, and led Cleveland to victory 86-97. Even later in the series against Washington, he showed a very good ability with averages of 35.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5.7 assists per game, and led the Cavaliers to a 2-4 victory in what was Cleveland's first win in a playoff series since the 1992-1993 season. In the Eastern Conference semifinals against the outgoing champion, the Detroit Pistons, Cleveland already had a promising 2-3 lead, but lost the remaining 2 games and was eliminated from the playoffs. James is known for his virtuoso moves and is considered one of the most spectacular dunks in the NBA. In the 2006-2007 season, there was a slight decline in James's ability, but he continued to achieve impressive achievements and led the Cavaliers to second place in the Eastern Conference with the same record as last season, 32-50, and to a second consecutive playoff qualification. He averaged 27.3 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 6 assists per game in the regular season, thanks to which he was selected to participate in the All-Star Game for the 3rd time in a row and was included in the second 5 of the season. In the first round of the playoffs, he led Cleveland to its first sweep in its history, with a 0-4 victory over the Washington Wizards. In the next round, the Cavaliers beat the New Jersey Nets and qualified for the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 15 years. In the Eastern Conference Finals series against the Detroit Pistons, Cleveland was already behind 0-2, but won all 4 of the next games and qualified for the NBA Finals for the first in its history. In the 5th game of the series, James presented one of his career highs and one of the greatest individual performances in playoff history, with a personal playoff record of 48 points, scoring all of his team's last 25 points of the game, and with a winning basket 2.2 seconds into the second overtime, giving it away. Her victory, 107-109. Nevertheless, in the final series, the Cavaliers were defeated in all games against the San Antonio Spurs and lost the series 0-4. In total, James averaged 25.1 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 8 assists in his 20 playoff games this season. In the 2007-2008 season, James established his status as the greatest Cleveland player of all time when he passed Brad Doherty and became the team's all-time scoring king with 10,414 points in only 5 seasons. Also at the age of 23 years and 59 days, he became the youngest player in history to reach 10,000 career hits. He led Cleveland to 4th place in the East at the end of the regular season and even won the title of the league's top scorer with an average of 30 points per game. Even before that, he won the MVP award of the All-Star Game for the 2nd time in his career, after finishing the game with 27 points, 8 rebounds and 9 assists, and leading the East team to a 128-134 victory. Nevertheless, in the playoffs, James and his team were unable to repeat the achievement from the previous season, and were already eliminated in the second round after a 3-4 loss to the incoming champion, the Boston Celtics.